Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is volume 11 of me answering your questions, all your comments. I try to do it at least once a week. Hopefully I'll start doing it a little bit more often because this channel is getting more and more questions and comments. So without further ado, let's get straight into your comments and I'll try to answer to the best of my abilities. All the information that is provided on this channel is directly from government sources, government websites. I don't search for any information on any private forums, any websites, whatever. I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. With that being said, let's go. The first comment question from Patty. Know what? How about someone being accountable at the embassies to get going on the interviews for these I-130s? Start with the first come, first serve. Are we up against 100 applications or 10K or what? Pushing into how many years waiting? Okay, I'm not exactly understanding what the question here is, but I do see that Patty is not happy with the first come, first serve. Unfortunately, there is really no other way to do it. The only proper way to do it is first come, first serve. There's the categories for the visas, and it doesn't really depend that much on the embassies. The embassies do get notifications and information going from the Department of State, and when the Department of State instructs them to schedule that interview, they schedule the interview. So really it's not up to embassies to decide when they call potential immigrants for the interviews. Also, if you do want to find out a little bit more information on the processing times, you can definitely check that on USCIS.gov. I actually made a separate video specifically how to do that, so check that video out. Maybe it will be helpful. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Al-Haji Hamidou Bari. You know what, maybe I will not try to pronounce your names just so that I don't mess it up. A friend of mine is denied because he could not submit the most recent tax return of 2021. He only submitted 2018, 2019, and 2020. Required was 2019, 2020, and 2021. Now he has the 21 tax available. What is your advice to file an appeal or motion or submit a new application? Thank you. Okay, so that is a very, very good example. And that's why I tell everyone, watch these videos where I answer the comments, because you see the problems from other people, you see the mistakes of other people that they make, and by seeing that, by hearing that, you can avoid doing them yourself. And one of the main issues that I see quite a lot is the problem with the tax returns. You have to understand that for USCIS, for the immigration officers that review your applications, it is extremely, the tax returns are probably at the very, very top of the important documentation whenever it comes for the applications for residency and naturalization, that is the citizenship. Now you might say, why? I mean, it's just a tax return, it's not even related to immigration. And yeah, you can look at it this way, but here's the thing. Documentation, the processes like tax returns, they show your involvement into being a resident, into being part of this whole system, government structure, whatever you want to call it, right? Infrastructure, whatever you want to call it. You're working, you're paying taxes, you're filing it on time. It is extremely important. You cannot miss those things. You see, the application got denied. Why did not that person follow the instructions? It's not that hard to file tax returns. It only takes, for most people, filing a tax return takes about a couple hours. Filling out the income, filling out the expenses. There are plenty of different platforms that help you do it, like TurboTax, for example. If you want to do it yourself, if there's someone, you can find a bunch of companies that do it for you. Really, I'm not advising any certain specific thing. Personally, I do everything myself whenever it comes to taxes. But it's simple enough, all right, not to file it and mess up a very important application like this. Specifically on the advice for your friend here, Al-Haji, I would say that he needs to look at the denial letter. And most of the times, not most of the times, all the time, the denial letter will say further steps that the applicant can take, whether it is the appeal, whether they can just resubmit another application, whether they have to file a motion to reconsider. So in that denial letter at the very end, there should be the further steps that the person can do. So check out the denial letter, and based on the options that are available, that will have to be next step. But again, for everyone watching this video, file your tax returns and file them on time. Do not be late. It's very, very important. All right, let's move on to the next one from Sanjay. After approval of I-130 but before I-539, application in process. If my son turns 21, then what happened to his case? Okay, so that's a very, very good question. Again, I've seen quite a lot of cases where a person is in one category because they are under 21, and then as the process goes on, they change to a different category because they just turned 21, right? It really depends on when the application is filed, not so in the process. So if the application was filed before the person was 21, that's it. Throughout the length of the application, they will be in the category of under 21. Once they do turn 21 with the next application that you're filing, then it will be obviously over 21. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Try to make it short and clear. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Wafi31. I do not have any proof of showing that we'd get married when she arrived in US. We did get engaged. We have pictures of our rings. We have pictures together, but no reservations. I've already been to a trip with her. Can I send them a copy of that plane ticket? Okay, so that question was posted on K1 visa application form. Wafi, from what you said in your comment, you have everything that is needed, that is required to be eligible for her to receive that K1 visa, because you guys already are engaged. All right, you guys had a trip together. You already met. Sorry, you have the pictures together. That is more than enough evidence. So yeah, I would say the plane ticket, your engagement information you'll have to put in a statement. I would include the pictures just in case, probably not necessary, but include them just in case, because it's one of the requirements for it's not if you don't have the pictures together, right? For everyone else who's watching, if you don't have a pictures with your potential fiance, with your potential spouse, right? There are some exceptions, but if you do have the pictures together, that already fulfills that eligibility where you have to meet. Okay, that's one of the things that you have to do. It's not necessary, you can bypass that, but it's one of the things that you have to do is you have to meet beforehand. And Wafi here, you guys did meet, so great. You shouldn't have any problems. Just include all of that information saying that, hey, yeah, we did meet, we did get engaged. I want to marry her, obviously, because you're already engaged, right? So please give her K1 visa. Yeah, should be straightforward. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Kamini. Hi, thanks for creating such a detailed and outstanding tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. I'm glad it's helpful. Appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. I need an input with respect adding additional employment information on the last page. I'm clear that I need to give page number 4, part number 2, but not sure what I need to enter in the item number. Should it be 50? I will be very grateful if you can please provide your information. Yes, you're correct. Whatever the item number, and you got it correct. Example is whatever the item, right? So you have the page, you have the part, and then whatever the item number is, and you got it correctly. Yes, it's 50, 49, whatever the item number is that you're providing additional details on, that would be the item number. So you're on the right track, Kamini. Let's move on to the next one from Tess. And today I will answer, I'll keep on going. For now, I'm keeping going. Tess, if the beneficiary is already here in the US legally, how long should we wait for the petition to be approved? And the question is on alien relative I-130. So it really does not matter. It doesn't matter whether the petitioner, the beneficiary is outside the United States or inside the United. Well, it does matter in the fact that they're whether over there or here. But whenever it comes to the timeline of the application, it does not matter. The only thing that affects the timeline of the application is the category of the beneficiary. Are they immediate relatives like spouse, child, right? Are they the parent? Are they the sibling? So depending on which category they're in, that's what will affect the timeline. But it doesn't matter whether they're here or not. Since they're here, of course, it is a little bit easier because, well, you just, they're already here. You wait. If you have to wait for a year, if you have to wait for 2, they're already here. Obviously, it's a little bit easier than waiting for someone who is outside of the United States. But again, it depends on the category. So check which category they're in. You can find that information on this page that I gave in this video. And that will give you a little bit more details on how long the process will take. Okay, let's move on to the next one. AdventureOnStore.com. Hi there. Does the citizen asking, in this case is a son asking for the parent, have to be living permanently in the US at the time of the application? Okay, that's an excellent question. Since it's a citizen, it's a little bit more lenient. So because there is no direct requirement for citizens to, like for example, for permanent residents to stay in the United States certain amount of time out of the year, right? So it's a little bit more relaxed, but no, the answer is no, they don't have to be, okay? Living, permanently, depends on how you define permanently, right? Do they have a permanent residence here? Not the green card type of permanent residence, but more like real estate, right? The house, are they renting an apartment or something? Do they have the permanent address here, physical address? Or are they completely out of the country and they're living somewhere else? Since they're a citizen, again, there is no direct requirement like that, like there would be for a permanent resident, but depends on how long they've been out of the country, because all of these questions will be asked in the application. So keep that in mind. All right, let's move on to the next one from Judith Resendes. Thank you for the great and explanatory video. You're welcome. I have studied this form I-130, but I need this visually video. Just what I needed. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad this was helpful. Let's move on to the next one. And we will go up to Praful, the very last one. And so this video is not too long. And then I'll get to the second volume, not the second volume, volume 12 it's going to be, but hopefully get to all the next ones. Okay, so my sister filed in 2006. Yeah, okay, Dipti. So unfortunately that's one of those categories, siblings, sisters, brothers. One of those categories that take absolutely forever. And looks like for you, 2006, well, it's already 2023. Wow, that is 16, 17 years. Yeah, that's a very, very long time. I'm very sorry that it's taking this long, but for siblings, it's the longest. And I've heard where it takes 7 years, takes 10 years. I've never heard someone taking 16, 17 years, like in your case, which is really, really long. What I would recommend your sister doing is probably reaching out to the Department of State, reaching out to the USCIS first of all, seeing if USCIS ever transferred the case to the Department of State. Because if they still haven't, then obviously USCIS would be the agency to work with. If they have already transferred the case to the Department of State, then obviously she will have to contact the Department of State. I think at this point USCIS should have transferred it to the Department of State because it's been a really, really long time. One thing I would kind of go through is, because it's been so long, the process have changed. She might want to consider reaching out to an immigration attorney because it's been really, really long time. Sorry it's taking that long. Okay, so let's move on to the next one from Renaline Torrejos. I think I pronounced it correctly. Thanks for the information. You're very welcome. I'm married to a GC holder, green card holder, and we have a son almost 4 years this June. He wants to petition us to US. What forms do we need to fill up? Okay, so it should be pretty straightforward. The form is the form that I am talking about in this video. You commented on the separate question that I've made related to that form. Form I-130, do I need a lawyer to apply for a green card through marriage? That's the question that I was answering. Now, technically you don't need a lawyer. You can do it all yourself. I have done a separate video, updated quite recently, just a few weeks ago, step by step filing that I-130. So your husband, the green card holder husband, tell him, send him that video, find it, it's here on this channel, it's uploaded on this channel. It is step-by-step instructions on how to file form I-130. Send it to him, let him watch it, go through it. I describe how to file it, where to file it, how much it costs to file. It's pretty straightforward. Good news is because you're in category 1, category A, depending on from whichever side you're watching, same thing. Basically the first priority category, spouses and children. Okay, so it should not take long. Usually those petitions take about 6 months to a year, so that's the good news. But find that video, it's here on this channel, send it to him, and good luck guys in your process. If you have any questions along the way, you can always ask them here. All right, let's move on to the next one. I definitely cannot read that one. Can I apply for me and my brothers in the same application? That's for I-539A, how to extend visa for family members. Yes, correct. You can. That's the separate I-539A, is specifically the separate application from the regular I-539, where you can file together with your family members. All right, so the only difference is that you won't be able to file that online. You have to file it by mail in a paper form. Okay, so moving further, from Medical Kate. Hello, thank you for the video. You're very welcome. I have a question. My I-539 was approved. Congratulations. The period was till January 15, 2023, but approval notice they sent 0201. Of course. I'm still in USA. Could you tell me what's next? Does it mean my visa was disturbed? Okay, so since the period, it's really strange. Okay, it was approved. So you received that notice of approval on February 1st, right? February 1st, 2023, which is 4 days ago. And you commented 3 days ago. So yeah, I'm assuming that's the case. And they gave you up until January 15, 2023. So I'm assuming that you have filed your application about 6-7 months ago, right? And they gave you an extension for 6 months and it expired 15 days ago. Okay, so that is a little bit of a complicated situation, unfortunately, because right now at this point, if you are living the United States of America, right, with current situation that you have, when you go through the airport, the only thing that, no matter how much you explain, the only thing that they will do is they will stamp it as your expired stay, and it will say that you overstayed your stay in the United States of America. So you definitely don't want to do that. So you kind of have a couple of options here. If you have to leave immediately, obviously that's the only thing that you can do. But I would recommend probably filing for another extension and including that notice and showing that it came past, don't get rid of the envelope, showing that it came past that time of the extension that they gave you. All right. Number two, I would definitely recommend you scheduling a consultation. Find an immigration attorney that offers free consultation. There's plenty of them out there. There are a few websites where you can ask a question directly from an immigration attorney, like for example avvo.com. Ask the question there, and just to see the opinions of the legal professionals and see what they recommend doing in this case. But with my recommendation is, if you don't have to leave the country now, don't do that, because if you do, in the airport, it's virtually impossible to explain it to the CBP, the Custom Border Protection officer, that, hey, they'll just say that you overstayed and that's it. It's just easier for them to do that. So good luck with that case, and if you can update us with what's going on, that would be very helpful for other people to see what to do in situations like this. All right, moving further to the question from Kamal. Quick question for affidavit support documentation. Do I need to fill all these forms let's read again. Quick question for affidavit support documents. Do I need to fill all these form I-864W, I-864EZ, etc., or just need to only one? Okay, so affidavit of support. Okay, Kamal, so you are probably referring to the part once USCIS transfers the case to the Department of State. You're probably referring to that NVC website portal that you have to fill out all those forms. The forms are there. Just fill out whatever you will see. It's hard to explain without it open in front of me, but you will see all of these supporting documents that you have to fill out. There's only one application there for each person who is a sponsor. So just fill that out, pay it. It's there. Don't do anything extra that they're not asking you to do, basically. Okay, hopefully that answers the question. If you do have more questions though, drop them in the comments below. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Be Goofy. Probably his girlfriend is Brazilian, whom he is intending to bring to the US. Yes, I wish. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Praful Panchal. Thank you for being publicly subscribed to this channel, by the way, Praful. Can't get your consultation for my case. It's on the video, 7 tips. So, like I said in the beginning of this video, and that's a good one to close out, I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm not a legal practitioner. That is one of the reasons, one of the reasons why I do not offer any kind of consultations, a direct one-to-one consultation. Because first of all, it would be illegal for me to do. And second, I really want everyone to know that and to keep that in mind. Do not take any consultations from someone who is not an immigration attorney. Even with an immigration attorney, take the consultation with a grain of salt, knowing that you have to verify all of the information that they gave you yourself. And I'm not talking anything bad about immigration attorneys or legal practitioners, immigration practitioners, that is, those who are not immigration attorneys, but who are authorized by USCIS to give consultations and advice, right, on the immigration purposes. Take all of the information, even on this channel, of course, with the grain of salt. Why? Because USCIS.gov, it's a government organization. The rules, the petitions, the applications, the information constantly updates. For example, I've done the video the other day, not the other day, it was a few months ago, Uniting for Ukraine, right? How to be a sponsor, a supporter for someone in Ukraine so that they can come here in the United States. It was a completely different process a few months ago when I made the video, and now just less than a few weeks ago, USCIS updated the whole program and how it is filed. So now it's completely different. It's similar, but it's different process. And as you can see now, my video that I've made, a few months ago, 6 months ago, someone who's watching, well, if they don't do enough research themselves, they will have improper information. And it's not because I don't know something, or USCIS doesn't know something, but it's because information constantly updates. I try to keep it as updated as possible on this channel. That's why you see sometimes I do the same form, the same application that I've already done a while ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, but I do it again with an updated process so that you always have new, fresh information. But it's on you. It's up to you to verify it and to double check it. So with that being said, I hope my answers were helpful to you guys today. As always, thank you for watching. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next video.